Hello, I'm Jason Breach and welcome to another Woodworking Wisdom. So today we're going to make a circle cut jig. Why? Lots of you might have a wood line, you want to cut your square bit off a plank out to a nice round disc. The more round it is, the more balanced it is when you put it on the lathe. Also maybe means those little corner bits you could use for something else instead of hacking them off and trying to get it back to a round. Right? Now that's a nice flat bit. The minute we go with something maybe as a natural edge, you can have more issues than trying to cut it. If you mark this out with a compass, you actually end up with like an egg shape going over when you cut it out. It's not nice and round. So let's try and go through that circle cut jig. And if you've been watching the videos over the years, you know we use quite a few circle cut jigs. I used one for the umbrella stand is one sort of project I can definitely remember. Okay, so we've got our bandsaw. First thing you need to make sure with the bandsaw you're set up for the right type blade. That's paramount before you start building your circle cut jig. You need to have the blade in the right position, ideally probably sharp blade. Narrower for tighter curves. If you want to go smaller bowl blanks, yes, you'll need to put narrower blade in, okay? 4, 6 TPO will be good. 4 is a little bit coarser, so yes, it will clear the waste quicker, so you can feed quicker. 6, a little bit slower on your feed when you cut through. Alright, so I've set the blade up, got that positioned. I've got all that bit. On the bench I've got a piece of board we're going to use for the main table. It's painted white, but actually it's a piece of MDF. The white will hopefully help you guys see. Alright, so backside. Alright, there you go. So first thing I've had to do, piece of material. So this is a piece of tulip wood, wherever you could cut this and machine it out of anything. I've made it fit that T-slot on the bandsaw. So I expect if we have a quick look on there, you can see. Now, it needs to slide. Not overly tight. Needs to go in, go back and forwards. That's great. Needs to be flush. So it's not going to push the board up, right? So we've got that. That's quite easy to do. Next, if we leave it there, I'm going to bring in the board we want for our table. I'm going to place it on the top. I'm using the fence at the moment just as a guide. I'm in as far as I can come. The fence is just helping me keep it square. Nothing more than that at the moment. I can then get my pencil. I'm going to do a mark on here. I can actually clamp this one on in a second. I'm going to come down to the other end. I'm going to reach over. I'm just looking for my square that's on the bench. And I'm trying not to block the camera we've got there coming in. So I can do a pencil line there and there. Okay. This end I could actually clamp on, but I think just to make my life easier, because I've got to cut that back, I'm going to put my line on here. So I'm just going to bend down there, one there. I can transfer these over then. That's there. Let's grab our board back on the bench. Now I've got my guidelines that we scribed in underneath. Just bring the board round a bit squarer. On the other end, I need to come from a bit there and a bit there. I'm going to drop those over. So I'm hoping you can probably just see that's just all to the camera, which is great. I'm trying to keep an eye on where we are as well. That there. I'm just transferring those lines that we marked on around the board. All right. Some of you are going to say, making a bit of a meal of this, Jace. I am, I'm sorry. All right. That one there. We want our T-slot bar. I've got a couple, did do spare one. I have the view, if I'm going to machine up one, I might as well do a few. Just going to see how long we want. Now I'm going to have a bit more length on the front. So that will poke out, that will help me get it into the T-slot on the bandsaw and not be right up against it, so that won't hurt. We want to cut that off. I don't need all that length. Right, that's first bit done. I can now use a couple of quick spring clamps. And I'm lining up my pencil line there. Some of you would possibly want to go with super glue. My problem with super glue on this sort of thing, if I need to adjust it, I can't. So if I just clamp them on and fix them, will be better. Then I want drill bit to drill pilot hole. I do 3 or 4 screws down through here. They're done. They're going through the tulip. I want to make sure those screw heads are out the way. So we're now going with what's classed as a snail cutter countersink. I don't know if you can see on the overhead. Let's have a quick. Okay, bring them up. All right. So we've got our chips in there. So this is just going to countersink those screw heads out the way. Make sure that they're not going to catch on that bandsaw table. Get our screws, got 4 there. Again, you need to make sure the screws are obviously long enough, but they're not going to come through the board. The board we're using, like I said, got a piece of MDF, will work. The more thickness you have on the board, yes, it makes it more rigid. Downside, you lose cut height off the bandsaw blade to the table. So thinner board can be better, but you need enough strength for it to work. Went right in there, try and move my body back a little bit, I'm blocking the camera. That's done. So we got, albeit just as a quick guide on what's happening now, I can move the fence to there. That will fit in that T-slot, that will slide in, okay? At this stage, I'm going to do a couple of things. Let's have a look. I'm going to go on. I need to just turn the extractor on. I want to feed this in. It's going to come up. We go to there. Alright. Just turned off. Let's just turn the extractor off as well. Alright, so I can do, and I think I can get in from here. A little bit fiddly. Got a groove on there, so I'm fighting that. I'll explain what I'm doing in a minute and create a line there. If I come back to here, I've just done pencil scribble line here. I'm going to use my fingertip. I want to transfer it down. That'll do. Big, heavy, thick line. You'll be able to see that. I want to screw this on here. Okay, good. I'm even going to come in a little bit. That won't hurt. And then I can adjust. So I'll just change the drill again. So this is creating, if you like, a stop bar. And this is all really relevant. Countersink again. This isn't going to go over the table, so it should be alright, but let's just countersink them. Couple more screws. I've got our countersink. Let's just fix those down. Bring that in. Checking things at this point should be relatively square, but that's not going to affect anything, just looks better. So back to our table now. Now we've got a groove that we've already cut, got our slot that comes down through here, bring that up. The stop bar now will limit how far in we go, real simple little bit. I'm going to grab my square. Going to come off the edge. I've got to extend it with the roll. I'm going to come up to the blade. Alright, so front of my blade, and this is where it becomes important. You've set your blade up, and in reality, if you change your blade, you went for something wide, or you reposition, you're trying to get back level with this pencil line. The pencil line is level with the front teeth of the blade, not the middle of the blade, not the back, not further forward. It needs to be level with the teeth. Okay, so we got that. Going to bring back out to here now. Just going to grab another little bit of board for a second. Just want to place this underneath. We can use that as a stabiliser bar. That's better. What we're doing now, we want to plan out where we want to drill. Most of us, for this, we still work Imperial for bowl blanks and timber. So I'm going to work Imperial for you. So 2 inches off my line gives me a 4-inch circle. If I can find my 2, it's there. Right. If I go half, that's 5. 3 is 6. 3.5, 7, 4, 8. So you can have as many as you like. Up to 10, 12, 14. All right. I'm being quite quick with those. All right. Let's just have that back for a second. Going to use that as a drilling guide as such. I could probably just drill them freehand. So let's get the other clamp. Going to come down here. Just adjust the pressure. I just want to be back off that line just fractionally. Right, so we're just clamping this on the edge. I've got my measurements I can see. I've got my pencil line I scribe down through I can see. I think you guys can probably see most of that. Try and do this. Oh, it's fun. Try to do this on camera. Alright, so the long slot bit you can see, the pencil line is just covering. So down through here, got all my measurements. Change the drill. Now the drill I'm changing for, let's explain that. I want to use a metal pin. We could do a screw from underneath. So my metal pins, I've got in my hand here, bring those up. What have I done? I've actually just used a nail. Alright, so I've cut the nail, so that's quite effective for this. I obviously need a drill bit to try and match the size of those. Alright, so I think this is 2.5 or 3 mil. Lip and spur drill, this is why we put the other board on the bench, just to cover it. And all we're going to do now is drill those out. So at the moment we are up to a 14-inch bowl blank. That'll do for now. I could keep going, we could have as many as you like. So we have our series of holes. I think you can probably see, let's have a quick look there. Then I've got my pin that will fit into here. I can fit through. Alright. Real simple. Now we've got a couple of options now. First thing, let's just swing this round. I want to get it off the bench. I want to check it will fit. So bring this in, we're up to our bit. We can see our line with the front of the teeth. You guys can just about see. Let me get my pencil. The front of the blade is level with that pencil line and those holes. If I needed to, I could either track the blade or I could even adjust that stop bar we put on the front. But at the moment, pretty good. All right, that's good. So we want to cut our block. Now we have a couple of options. On the bit of a sycamore we've got now, first thing I kind of say, well actually, I could look at this and go, I've got a heart shaking here. That's more likely to crack out, come out through this side. I've got a knot, it's lower this side. My bowl shape, I think we're going to do that side. So this is the inside where I'm looking now, the top of the bowl. This would be the base, which will have the foot in. So I could kind of look at this and go, well, how about then we can drill a hole. So all I've done is mark our centre. Our pin we can put in. Just sticks out a little bit, which is good. I mean by a 1/4 of an inch. What we got as a disc, 10. So I'm going to bring my ruler just as a guide, and I can even do this will help you. Let's project this line forward. Now I can put my ruler there. Now if I bring this back, 10 inch is that one. Got to look at it. So my pin does fit nicely. Just wiggle it back and forward. Now there it is dropped in. So that pin will drop into the hole nicely. Now just a quick look, I can see just, okay, a little bit shy there, good there. A little bit shy on this. We could come down to 9.5. We can come down to 9, but actually this will give us something. We'll cut the ends off. So let's bring this one up. All right, going to come in there. All right, I need to turn the bandsaw on the extractor on. Let's do that one first. So bandsaw comes on. I'm going to come up. Now I'm going to hold my blank still now. Go to there. Push in. Going to make our cut. Now, like I said, I know I'm a little bit short either side. On the ends, nice. Left thumb is pushing the corner block in behind. You can't quite see it. So that's nice and safe, that's behind the blade. Right hand is pulling round, I've let go with my left, come round, left hand on the corner so I can use those corner bits. Another important thing with this, keep your guides nice and low. I'm not running too quick, just letting it feed. Okay, let's bring that back. Turn that off. Okay, simple one, and like I said, 2-inch piece of sycamore, that's quite an easy one to do. Nice round shape. We said we got a little bit of a flat either side. The pin we can take out, that's already given us maybe our screw location point for the screw chuck. We can put our faceplate on there, we turn that out. That's great, isn't it? That's easy. But what about with this? This has got that lovely natural edge. I think let's just switch around to here so you can see it on the overhead. So we've got a piece of yew-wood. I've marked a centre point. I've got a 10-inch circle. Okay, now if I put this on freehand and I draw my circle, I don't get a circle because it will drop on the edge. So how are we going to do this? Now, I want this as the foot if I want a natural edge bowl, so I don't really want to drill a hole in this. I don't really want to go putting a pinhole in, not going in that deep, but it will affect it. Other thing we could make is something like a carrier. So another piece of plywood. Let's just quickly do this one then. So we're going to draw corner to corner, and again this was a piece of scrap, doesn't have to be anything special. That'll do there. We've still got our drill in there, which is good. Same size we used for the pin. Put the pin in there. Actually, I've got the nail head on this side. So where we've got our nail head, we need to tap that down. I want to get it flush. That will also make it stay in there. That's good. We've got our lines corner to corner. Now, just going to swing round. This isn't actually critical at this stage, but let's do it. So we want 1, 2, 3, 4 screws, that'll do. Just going to change the drill. I need that plywood disc back. So back to the smaller drill. Get rid of that. We want this bit. So in here, that's got to go down the table, got to flip it over. Now I didn't draw, and it wouldn't hurt. I could draw those out. So good tip to do at that point. He says you didn't do it, you forgot. I draw the corner to corner either side. It'll make it easier at this stage to mark out where I want these. So we've got one there, one there. Line that up, bring it round. Where's my mark? There it is. This one, got there. Again, this isn't that critical, but it's nice, and it makes it easier to line it up for what we're going to do in a second. How far in do you want to be? Let's be far enough out that it's not going to affect anything. So if I had foot or face plate, drill through. So again, we're using that cover board to make sure I don't damage the workbench. Just to stop these dragging. That snail cutter, missed that one a little bit. Then we've got to put our screws in. So just screwing those up. I want them below the surface, and they're just going to spike through. quite small pilot hole will allow it to pull through, but I want them to grip, which will make sense a bit more in a second. One more to do. So we have there, so we got our pin facing downwards on here. I can spin it. You've got the 4 little screws, and they actually poke out the top, so I can feel them. Got to be careful now. They're a bit sharp. So we get our block. Now I've already marked on here using, in reality, set dividers, but I can draw this out as a cross. So I'm going to draw a line across there. This one shouldn't be too bad there. Just going to bring this up. I just want to check how square it is. I'm getting older. That's there. Looking for my middle. That's good. So with this, we can put it on now. We can line up the pencil lines that we transferred over, that cross, with that. Right. That's given us our centre quite accurately. So those screw points that just come through, they don't have to come through loads. Let's just get that down. Allow that to grip. Pinch in. All right. So we can go back to our board. Now we know again we've actually got 10-inch, but I can slide this up. Where's our location? There. I'm just going to bend down and have a look because I've got to come back on my board was where I want it to be. That there. Let's see if we come over one. Problem with this now, I don't want to waste too much wood. Just sighting my lines. There it is. Ooh, that's there. I'll take a little bit off the edge, a little bit off the end. I'm going to come back a hole. It's going to be tight. This is the only kind of fiddly bit with making circle cut jig like this. You have to find that location. What I need to do is transfer my pencil lines up through, or I'll use that block as a guide. That's it, we're going there, okay? Now here, I've got another issue now. Do you bet we've got that round disc and we propped it up? We've got a stability issue out on the corner. So there is the risk that the bandsaw, when we're cutting, the blade is pulling down. It want to lift it off that block and move it about. So, which I just moved. We cut something out, and I think you can probably see that L shape. I can put it in here. So just checking where we are. I'm just going to make sure I don't fall off. Bring it back into here. You're back in picture, that's good. So all I'm doing now is lining up where we need to be. So I've lined up the edge with the bandsaw cut, even though the bandsaw cut through this we need to. And we've got couple of screws I'm going to put in. They need to be out the way of where you're cutting. This is the same thickness as the piece of plywood that I've used for the disc. So let's just put that one on there. One done. Second one in there. That'll just hold that in position, stop it moving about. But that now is acting as a stability bar, so if I put pressure on here, it doesn't lift up. So it's supporting where that cut is. Let's spin us back round. Okay, what other things do we need to do? We need to bring the height up. Check things will rotate before I go anywhere. Going to have a look at this a little bit more. So I'm just sighting our maximum. That's there. That's good. Let's turn the extractor on. Looking at where we're going to come in first. I'm looking at what I can save as material. That sounds bad, doesn't it? Okay. Move those. Bandsaw's back on. So let's come in there. We're not going to get a lot off that. So gently in. We're up to the stop bar. Nice and controlled on our movement. So again, right hand's right now behind the blade now. Bring that round. Less cut there, so really quick, more resistance here. Right, come out a little bit there, going back in full depth now. Move this belt. Bottle stopper. Balls for solitaire sets. Okay, so those corner bits are already starting to look at what I'm going to use them for. Beautiful thing with this, there you go, peeled off. I have got, and I'm going to mark, so I've got 4 little dots on here, so there is one there, one out here, right, so, but they don't go in very far. I've only tapped them in lately with the hammer. They don't come through that disc very far. I've got no centre dots. So if this is going to be the base of the bowl, haven't got an issue. I can do that natural edge nicely. But the most amazing thing with this, I think main camera, it is round. Okay? It is totally circular. It's not nearly, it's not egg shaped. It's more balanced to get on the lathe. It's easier to start. Which leads to a little bit. I think you can have a quick look on, I'll bring this over. All right, let's just pull that off. How that support bar worked, it stopped things dropping down. The dust on here, we could drill a hole if you want. Allow the dust to go through better is a good way of getting rid of that. Let's just clean off. So most important bit, and I think we do this side because it's better camera this side. As I said, you can have as many holes as you like. You can make it as big as you like. Smaller, obviously, you need to have narrower blade. Support bar is only needed if we're going to use the disc setup and underneath with the screws. It's under here. That pin will go in, which is why we hammered it in. Alright, that will go round. If you don't need this, you can take it off, unscrew it. You can put a pin directly in the bottom of your blank. Nice sharp blade, but the major thing, and it was a learning curve for me with different size blades and stuff, those have got to be level with the front of the blade. So your drill hole locations for whatever you're mounting got to be level with the blade. If you're forward or back, doesn't work. It'll twist the blade a little bit as well. All right, and obviously make sure you set your bandsaw up nicely to do this. All right, there you go then, guys. Nice, simple little project. Easy to do, but irreplaceable, worth its weight in gold in ways. Makes my life so much quicker that I can just, oh, wow, I know that I get beautiful circle. So hopefully you've enjoyed. Simple circle cut jig. Wow, this is going out Christmas time. So next week I've got the definitive guide to the Jason Breach turning tools. That's an important one to watch. So that's going over all those things from sharpening, everything else. So we'd love to see you for that one. Hope if you liked, give us a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Go to that notification thing. You will see what we've got coming up. So we'll see you again. More woodworking wisdom. Thanks then, guys. Bye.